Thank you, Amy. As she said, I'm Sarah May, and I graduate in 6 weeks from the nursing program. I see lots of other faces who have 6 weeks left. So last week I was talking to my husband because it was the end of spring break and we were mentally preparing to get back into the grind. And that's when I realized I only had 7 weeks left. And this is my last time having to hunker down, at least for this degree. And as we were talking about feeling ready to get back to it, I said, I know this is a little cliche, but I'm feeling really empowered because this degree, this license, that's something that nobody can take away from me. And that is exactly why I'm here today, to invite you into the reveling, into the excitement, into the great joy and empowerment. BRCC Educational Foundation, Joanne Miller Loudon, Dr. and Mrs. Wade, and Bill and Lisa Moore, thank you for giving me more than a degree. Thank you for being a part of my future. Going to college was never a question for me. I had a chorus of support throughout school urging me forward. The question rather was, what school? My sophomore year in high school, I was signed up for AP Physics and AP Calculus and AP World History and all the other higher level courses that would keep me ahead of the game. University of Chicago and Yale were my top 2 schools, my reach schools. In my junior year of high school, I was accepted to a private school abroad in Spain on full scholarship, and I would get to spend the whole year there. And that was another checkbox for college applications, something to set me apart. And so I went to Spain, and I learned so much, I studied so much, and I ate even more. You don't want to see the pictures. My senior year, I came home, and stakes were high, applications, essays were due, and all that I had been striving for was coming to a head. But as if on cue, family tragedy swelled and broke. I lost my footing, I lost sight, and worst of all, I got a B in AP Biology. While a small blip in the cosmos, for me, that B meant that this identity and control that I felt in school and in academics, it didn't have the power to keep me afloat like I thought it would when sorrow struck. Amidst the loss of family stability and without the crutch of comfort I had come to find in school, I couldn't discern where that left me. The only college application I submitted that year was one that didn't require an essay because I couldn't bring myself to write one. It was to Northern Arizona University, and they gave me a full scholarship, so I went. I started my freshman year there, and for a brief moment I thought, all right, this is it. This is going to fix things. I ended up dropping out about a year later. And yet, by God's great mercy, new life burst forth. This new beginning involved a big move from Phoenix, Arizona to Highland County, Virginia, and a short-lived employment at Cracker Barrel, some long nights and harder days, the love and support of the church, a handsome man, a book called The Diary of a Midwife, and in a real-life montage of moments and months and years, I knew it was time to try again, to dream again, and I wanted to go to nursing school. At this point, I was in Harrisonburg, working as a receptionist, and I was forced to face the reality that I had to keep my full-time job and find a degree program that worked around this. And so, I began to accept my place in the world as a working adult going back to school. How life had changed. I knew I couldn't afford tuition, and because of my age, I knew that FAFSA wouldn't consider me independent. I don't know if anybody here is familiar with the independence appeal process for financial aid, but it is not for the faint of heart. And thank you to everyone in financial aid for all your help and support as I bore my soul to you. I was so worried that I wouldn't get approved, mainly because I finally had something to work for that was profound and purposeful. And now by coincidence, I had a wonderful mentor at the time supporting me and reminding me not to lose heart. She walked with me through the appeal, and it turned out in my favor, and I would be starting classes in the fall. Balancing my work with school required sacrifices that served as a constant reminder that I was going for something worthwhile. Really, I learned a discipline I didn't know I needed, and I was growing in a strength that I longed for. My husband and I had been friends for a couple of years by the time we began dating. We hadn't been as close the months preceding our relationship, and so when we reconnected, we were very pleasantly surprised to find out that we were both working towards the nursing program at Blue Ridge. I was a semester ahead of him as far as prereqs, so I was already knee-deep in anatomy and physiology, and he was working on becoming an EMT for healthcare experience. So quite literally, our dating relationship consisted of making flashcards, quizzing each other, competitions to see who could get through their lectures faster on double speed. And in our almost 3 years of marriage, not much of that has changed. We may or may not have been doing microbiology and sociology homework on our honeymoon. That's what we get for getting married in the middle of the semester. So, originally we hoped to move through the nursing program together, but it didn't end up working out that way, and I am so glad, because 1 year of us both being nursing students is about all of our laundry basket and our sink can handle. But we really cannot thank you enough for helping to keep this young married couple afloat. And Seth has also been fortunate enough to receive support from Blue Ridge Scholarship donors. We dream often about all the many ways the Lord might use the fact that we will both be nurses and the impact on our community that might have. As I was drawing inspiration for this speech and reflecting on the last few years, I went back through my scholarship application and I was moved to find the living story in each year's essay. Each year of petitioning words depicted a beautiful crescendo of impossibilities becoming possibilities and realities. Your partnership has been a beacon and a way forward. When I first came to you for your support many years ago, I had just begun to envision what I wanted to be when I grew up. As I come to you now, not only do I know what I want to be, but I know who I am, and I am a nurse. Nursing school cannot be merely described as academic or vocational because it requires more than intelligence or clinical competency. It requires all that you are, and in fact, it demands it. As we practice our physical assessments, recite our cranial nerves, and memorize medications, we are all the while submitting ourselves to be refined, sifted, and reformed into caregivers, advocates, and critical thinkers. With every clinical hour, we are submerged deeper into our community as we see their needs and hear their troubles. As you partner with us in our education, we are able to partner with others in their care. When people ask me about the nursing program at Blue Ridge, one of my favorite things to share with them is that most of our professors still work or serve in the community and are therefore stakeholders in how we turn out as nurses. Each of them is invested in shepherding us to become good nurses because ultimately we will also become co-workers and assume responsibility for the patients that they care so passionately about. They have modeled for us the power of devoted patient care. In my fledgling nursing career, I have already seen the weighty ways in which compassion can change things and can heal wounds that medicine can't. This May, with great pride, I will graduate from Blue Ridge Community College. It has been a long time coming and has taken the support of a village, and I wouldn't trade that for anything. For all intents and purposes, to me, Blue Ridge Community College is as good as any University of Chicago or Yale, and I cannot wait to be a BRCC alumna. After graduation, I will be working at Centera RMH in the emergency department alongside many other Blue Ridge nursing graduates and even professors. My husband will be graduating from the nursing program next May and will be working at Augusta Health. And to allude to this, with great humility and thankfulness, I'm also happy to report that my husband and I will both be graduating without any debt. You all have made this possible. And consequently, my husband and I are both able to plan for bachelor's and master's programs without hesitation or reluctance. You all have set us up for continued success. When you give to students, you give dynamic gifts, gifts that reproduce, gifts with trajectory, gifts that set good things into motion. And when you give to nursing students, you give to a whole community, the very people they serve and treat. And the greatest gift would be that of someday when you're very, very, very old and you might need someone to nurse you to health, that I would be able to care for you and meet your needs as you have cared for me and met mine. Thank you very much.